Good evening, and thank you for joining this week's Kelci's Corner. I'm Kelci O'Donnell, and this is the Digital Sports Corner, a time where I get to break down some of the latest local and national sports headlines. ECU got some big news this afternoon. Athletic Director John Gilbert announced that ECU football's home opener and season opener, nonetheless against the Marshall Thundering Herd, will be postponed due to COVID-19 concerns. Joined with me today is Brian Baylor, our sports director, to talk about the news. Brian, first of all, welcome. We love to have you back here in the studio and not in the man cave.
Yeah, glad to be back.
You listened in today on the Zoom call with Athletic Director John Gilbert. What were some of the key deciding factors to postpone this game?
Well, there's so many complications with this whole thing because you've got contact tracing going on, and the frustrating part is they've got 30 involved right now, but many of those don't have any symptoms. Many of them have very few symptoms, and a lot of them are still testing negative, but they're still out of the program right now. So, that's the real frustrating part, I think, for Coach Houston and for John Gilbert. I mean, everybody wants to play. We should be playing football, as Coach Houston said. This should be the day of the last, practice. This is supposed to be in shells and helmets, and you get ready for your walkthroughs on Friday, and then Saturday you tee it up and play. East Carolina was supposed to play on what's called week 0, get a head start on the season against the Marshall Thundering Herd. It's the 50th anniversary of the Marshall plane crash, and a lot of fanfare to go with that, and to remember that horrible tragedy. But we can't do any of that, so we were looking forward to September 12th. And the hard part now for Coach Houston and company is to try to get these players focused in now on UCF. That game was a Thursday night game in Greenville, but it's been moved to a Saturday. So we hope to have football at the end of September.
So obviously you've been with the station for over 30 years now. Have you ever experienced something like this happen, let alone even a first season, like a season opener game postponed?
Well, we've had games postponed before for different reasons. I mean, not too many years ago, we had the big thunderstorm right before kickoff, and it was one of the worst thunderstorms I've ever been a part of, and they moved that game to Sunday. Right. The problem with this is there's so many unknowns, and there have been so many unknowns since the middle of March. They couldn't do spring football. They thought maybe by September, August, September, the Big Ten, the Pac-12 not playing, in the fall. So there's just every day you wake up and there's something different going on. John Gilbert said in his press conference via Zoom, he said, "You won't believe the days that I come in knowing I'm going to work on one subject and I never get to it because I'm working on something else," because that's how crazy it is right now.
Right. And obviously it's not something we want to hear, but I know John Gilbert and all of the university staff are taking the health of team players, staff, everyone, the whole 9 yards into consideration. So obviously this is the best choice for them. Right now, unfortunately, switching gears a little bit to the high school level, we would be in Touchdown Friday. We would be, I believe, a weekend. Yeah. About a weekend, getting ready for week 2. But obviously that is postponed to the spring. So I guess we will wait and see if the AAC makes any decisions with regards to the future of their football season as well.
Yeah, it's really disappointing for all of us that really, people used to ask me what was my favorite season, and I'd always say whatever's in season, right. Baseball or basketball or football. But really, as I get older, football is my favorite time of the year. It's just, the cooler temperatures that come around, the football season, dealing with the high school football was so much fun, getting ready for Friday nights, and then Saturdays with college football. And, we have East Carolina right in our backyard, and we get to watch the ACC and the national games. And then, of course, on Sunday, get to watch the Cowboys beat your Eagles.
No.
It's just a lot of fun.
Go Birds. Anyone watching. It's a big rivalry here in the station. All right. Well, that was Brian Bailey, our sports director here at WNCT, and we'll have more details coming up in our sportscast, obviously, tonight with regards to ECU football. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more sports news just after this.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Sports are on pause yet again this week, only this time it's not a virus that's the reason for a postponement. It's intentional. The Milwaukee Bucks sparked a movement on Wednesday in the sports world in support of Jacob Blake and equal rights. Here's the latest from Indianapolis.
It is imperative for the Wisconsin State Legislature to reconvene after months of inaction.
Less than 24 hours after the Milwaukee Bucks boycotted Game 5, athletes across the U.S. took a stand. The Indianapolis Colts canceled practice to discuss and work toward making a lasting social impact and inspiring change in our communities.
We have to do something that is about substance. And what the Colts have decided to do today is substantive.
Antonio Williams is an associate professor at IU School of Public Health. He's worked with Colts players on their branding.
They have their own media companies. They have their own social media platform in which they can have their voices heard, and that's powerful.
Indy 11 captain Matt Watson used his platform to explain why he could not play last night. He did not refuse to participate. It was just too hard, and it still is.
I just felt paralyzed. Like, I cannot go out. Like, no matter what, I cannot go out and allow this to continue. Like, the game's not important, you know.
We've seen athletes participate in activism before. Ex-Pacer George Hill in June marched in downtown and encouraged Hoosiers to vote.
It felt like, oh, we haven't really made any progress. And it just felt like this has to start now. And like, if we keep playing and keep just putting on the t-shirts and the armbands, like, nothing's going to change.
Now athletes are using their positions of power to influence change outside the sport world.
These athletes also serve as the endorsers and the spokesmen for some of the biggest companies in the world. And so because of that, it is almost an obligation for them.
In Indianapolis, I'm Kelly Rinke.
The NHL became the latest league to join the movement within the sports world postponing games. Of course, we will continue to monitor what the next steps are for all athletes, all teams in the sports world, and we will continue to provide you timely updates as we learn more information. Now, shifting gears back to coronavirus-related news, there's a new spin on a local golf tournament this year. Hope Mission is set to host their annual golf tournament in Morehead City, with the exception that this year it will be virtual. Normally, the golf tournament is a one-day event with golfers gathered at one course. The Mission is spreading it now over 17 days, starting September 1st at the Morehead City Country Club. All players must check in with the pro shop before playing, then submit scorecards at the end of their rounds. I have more details on how you can sign up, who the donations will benefit, and more on WNCT.com's online original page. That will do it for this week's Kelci's Corner. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Thanks for watching.